You've mentioned that you love movies and TV shows. Let's ask an easy question, but you have to be definitively, objectively conclusive. What's your top 3 movies of all time?
So you're asking me to be definitive and to be conclusive. That's a little hard. I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. It's because movies is too broad of a category. I got to pick subgenres. But I will tell you that of those genres, I'll pick 1 or 2 from each of the genres. And I'll get us to 3, except I'm going to cheat. So my favorite comedy of all times, which probably my favorite movie of all time, is His Girl Friday, which is probably a movie that you've not ever heard of, but it's based on a play called The Front Page from, I don't know, early 1900s. And the movie is a fantastic film.
What's the story? What's the independent film?
No.
What are we talking about?
This is one of the movies that would have been very popular. It's a screwball comedy. You ever see Moonlighting, the TV show? You know what I'm talking about? So you've seen these shows where there's a man and a woman, and they clearly are in love with one another, and they're constantly fighting and always talking over each other.
Yeah.
Banter. Yeah. This was the movie that started all that as far as I'm concerned. It's very much of its time. So it's, I don't know, it must have come out sometime between 1934 and 1939. I'm not sure exactly when the movie itself came out. It's black and white. It's just a fantastic film. It's hilarious.
So it's mostly conversation.
Not entirely, but mostly. Just a lot of back and forth. There's a story there. Someone's on death row, and they're newspaper men, including her. They're all newspaper men. They were divorced. The editor, the publisher, I guess, and the reporter, they were divorced. But they clearly, he's trying to get back together, and there's this whole other thing that's going on. But none of that matters. The plot doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just a little play in conversation.
It's fantastic, and I just love everything about the conversation, because at the end of the day, sort of narrative and conversation are the sort of things that drive me, and so I really like that movie for that reason. Similarly, I'm now going to cheat, and I'm going to give you 2 movies as one, and they're Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and John Wick. Both relatively modern. John Wick, of course, is
1, 2, or 3.
New. 1. It gets increasingly, I love them all for different reasons, and increasingly more ridiculous. Kind of like loving Alien and Aliens, despite the fact they're 2 completely different movies. But the reason I put Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and John Wick together is because I actually think they're the same movie, or what I like about them, the same movie, which is both of them create a world that you're coming in the middle of, and they don't explain it to you. Mm-hmm. But the story is done so well that you pick it up. So anyone who's seen John Wick, you have these little coins, and they're headed out, and there are these rules. And apparently every single person in New York City is an assassin. There's like 2 people who come through who aren't, but otherwise they are. But there's this complicated world, and everyone knows each other. They don't sit down and explain it to you, but you figure it out. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a lot like that. You get the feeling that this is chapter 9 of a 10-part story. Mm-hmm. And you've missed the first 8 chapters, and they're not going to explain it to you, but there's this sort of rich world behind you. So
you get pulled in anyway, like immediately.
You get pulled in anyway. So it's just excellent storytelling in both cases, and very, very different.
And also, you like the outfit, I assume? The John Wick outfit?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, of course. Yes. I think the John Wick outfit is perfect. And so that's number 2. And then...
But sorry to pause on that. Martial arts? You have a long list of hobbies. Like it scrolls off the page, but I didn't see martial arts as one of them.
I do not do martial arts, but I certainly watch martial arts. Oh, I appreciate it very much. Oh, we could talk about every Jackie Chan movie ever made.
Okay.
And I would be on board with that.
Do you like Rush Hour too? Like that kind of the comedy of it, cop?
Yes. By the way, my favorite Jackie Chan movie would be Drunken Master 2. Known in the States usually as Legend of the Drunken Master. Actually, Drunken Master, the first one, is the first Kung Fu movie I ever saw, but I did not know that.
First Jackie Chan movie?
No, first one ever that I saw and remember. Period. But I had no idea
what is this?
That's what it was, and I didn't know that was Jackie Chan. That was like his first major movie.
Yeah.
I was a kid. It was done in the 70s. I only later rediscovered that it was actually.
And he creates his own martial art by drinking. Was he actually drinking, or was he played drinking?
You mean as an actor or
no? I'm sure as an actor.
No, he was
the 70s or whatever.
He was definitely drinking, and he in the end he drinks industrial grade alcohol. Yeah, and has one of the most fantastic fights ever in that subgenre. Anyway, that's my favorite one of his movies. But I'll tell you the last movie. Is actually a movie called Nothing But a Man, which is in the 1960s. Starred Ivan Dixon, who you'll know from Hogan's Heroes, and Abby Lincoln. It's just a really small little drama. It's a beautiful story. But my favorite scenes, I'm cheating. One of my favorite movies, just for the ending, is The Godfather. I think the last scene of that is just fantastic. It's the whole movie all summarized in just 8-9 seconds.
Godfather Part 1?
Part 1.
How does it end? I don't think you need to worry about spoilers if you haven't seen The Godfather.
Spoiler alert. It ends with the wife coming to Michael, and he says, "Just this once, I'll let you ask me my business." And she asks him if he did this terrible thing, and he looks her in the eye and he lies and he says, "No." And she says, "Thank you." And she walks out the door, and you see him as she's going. You see her going out of the door, and all these people are coming in, and they're kissing Michael's hands, and Godfather. And then the camera switches perspective. So instead of looking at him, you're looking at her, and the door closes in her face. And that's the end of the movie. And it's the whole movie right there.
Do you see parallels between that and your position as dean at Georgia Tech, Chrome? Just kidding. Trick question.
Sometimes, certainly, the door gets closed on me every once in a while.